gorgeous people. This is Amber's DIY and other stuff. My name is Amber Meeks. Today is Let's Talk Tuesday, and on this video, I wanted to talk about my little boy, Noah. So Noah was recently diagnosed with autism last year, and since April is Autism Awareness Month, I wanted to use my Let's Talk Tuesdays to bring awareness to autism, but more or less talk about my journey so far with my son. I was recently part of a collab with 5 other beautiful ladies who did autism awareness videos, and if you haven't had the chance to check out any of those videos, please make sure that you take the time to watch those, because each of us talked about different things in regards to autism, and I think that they'll be very beneficial for you guys to watch and listen to. Now, we did offer a giveaway as a thank you for taking the time to watch and listen, so there's a little bonus if you guys want to take the time to do that. I will link everything in the description box below. So I figured, let's go ahead and start at the beginning. So I was 39 years old when I had my son. So yes, I was an older parent. His dad is like 4 or 5 years older than me. So obviously both of us are older parents. They suggest that you don't have children after the age of 35. However, there are many Americans who do that and have perfectly healthy babies. So just because you're an older parent absolutely does not mean that your child will be on the autism spectrum. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. So at any rate, I was 39 years old when I had my son. So I was past my due date, about 3 or 4 days past my due date. And anybody who's been pregnant knows that you're like ready at that point. Like I was really ready for him to get out of there. So I was doing all those crazy exercises. Like I was on my iPhone watching these people do these crazy exercises to like move things along, so to speak. So I'm doing all these crazy exercises, and then I decided that I was going to walk up and down the stairs, and I did that 20 times, right? So then I laid down to go to sleep, and I am not kidding at all. I don't know if any of that had anything to do with this, but my water broke literally like about 2 hours later. So the first thing I did, of course, was call my mom. That's what most people do. I'm like, dude, I think my water broke. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, obviously go to the hospital. I'm like, yeah. So I woke his dad up and I said, listen, I'm pretty sure my water broke. We got to go. So he's just kind of moseying along, not believing that this is real. He's just like, la, 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 la. I'm like, dude, let's just go. You know what I mean? I don't know how fast this thing happens. Some people have babies right away. Sometimes it takes a day or two. You just never know, right? So we get to the hospital, right? And his dad, being the classy guy that he is, was not believing that this was like real. And he's like, let's just leave your overnight bag in the car. I'm like, no, take everything in. I mean, if I have to stay, great. If I don't have to stay, then we'll just come back. It's not a big deal. It's a bag. Like, carry it in. He didn't carry it in, guys. I had to carry my own bag in. So I am 40 plus weeks pregnant, walking into the ER with water running down my leg because my water broke, right? So I tell the lady that my water broke, and I mean, you got to stand there and fill out all kinds of paperwork, guys. So I'm standing there and all this water is going down my leg. I'm like, you guys are going to like need a mop. I'm just saying, I can't help this. Like I had one of those great big super pads on and it was leaking right through. Okay. I'm just saying. So finally, fill out all the paperwork, go up to the little area. That's the next place that you go up to in the birthing center. And they're supposed to check and make sure your water broke. But as soon as they saw me and saw the nice little trail of water that was running behind me, they knew they could skip that part. Just saying. All right. So I go in. And I'm waiting for my mom to get there because I wanted my mom to be there so very bad. That was very important to me because I just wanted to feel comfortable. I wanted to feel safe. My mom's had 5 kids. You know, I just really wanted my mom there. Okay. So my mom finally gets there because at first she like texted me that she was there and she's like, they won't let me come back. I was like, bullshit, I'm pressing the nurse's button. Sorry about the language here. I'm pressing the nurse's button and I'm like, no, my mom's coming back. Like if you have to take his dad out of here to get her in here, that's what we got to do. My mom's coming back. I'm just saying that's how important it was to me, right? Of course I wanted his dad to be there too, but I'm just saying like it was more important to me to have my mom there. At any rate, she finally comes back, you know, we're sitting there and I'm just telling you, like literally a week and a half before I finally went into labor, sorry to backtrack, but I forgot about this. I felt like he was in trouble. He wasn't moving as much as I thought that he should be moving. Like he was moving, not just a little bit here and there. It just really made me nervous. So when I went in for my checkup, we were there for hours and they were just monitoring the baby. And finally they did an ultrasound. They said everything was fine and they sent me home, right? So I just still felt like something wasn't right. And if you guys feel, if you're pregnant and you feel like something's not right, just press them even more, even though they're telling you everything's fine, because I'm about to tell you what happened next. So at any rate, they let my mom back. We're sitting there and I'm just like, oh, this is just terrible. I was like, I just don't feel like he's moving that much. There's not much going on. They're monitoring him. They're like, we're just trying to wait and see if your body will do what we needed to do. Yes, my water broke, but I wasn't dilated at all. Like nothing else was going on. My water just broke and that was it, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. And we're waiting. And then finally, he pooped inside me, right? So it's coming out of me. And they're like, oh boy. And they called it something else. There's some medical term for poop. I don't know what it is, but I just call it poop. At any rate, as soon as they told me that, I knew he was in serious trouble, because I've done a lot of research up to this point, because I was trying to find out what to expect, what to be aware of, all this other stuff. So I knew as soon as they told me that he was in trouble. They called the doctor. She came in right away and they had to do an emergency C-section. So obviously I am scared out of my mind. And the bad news with that is that only his dad could come back. They wouldn't let my mom back. And that really upset me. Whew, you have no idea. I really wanted my mom to be there. So at any rate, scared out of my mind. And the only person they'll let back is his dad. But at this point, they take me back right away. And they're like, guys, we got to get moving. Amber, I don't mean to scare you, but we got to get him out. And I'm like, let's go. Let's go. This is my boy, let's go. So I go back there. They give me the shot or whatever. And Noah's dad still isn't back there. They're like, John's going to be with you the whole time, blah, 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 blah. Well, he wasn't. They had to hurry up. They couldn't wait for him to get suited up. They had to get it done. So, they cut me open. They rip him out. And John's coming in as they were just took him out, and they're like, sorry, John, we couldn't wait for you. And they're trying to get him to breathe. He's not breathing. Finally, after a few pets, I heard that cry, and that was like the best sound ever, right? And the only thing about having an emergency C-section or a C-section at all is that you don't get to hold your baby as the mother. I was really looking forward to that part, but I didn't get to do that. Nonetheless, they got him out, and they brought him over to me for like a brief minute, got a few pictures, and they took him right back to the NICU. John went with him. John actually carried him with them to the NICU, and that's where he spent 6 days. So the poor boy went through a lot. When he was born, he had extremely low blood sugar, and he was having trouble breathing. They are not exactly sure to this day what caused that. At one point, they were very unsure whether or not they were going to be able to keep him in the hospital that I was in, because they weren't equipped to deal with a situation like this. So they were actually going to transport him to Pittsburgh for those doctors to do what it is that they do. Of course, I told his dad if that was going to happen that he needed to make sure that he went with him. I couldn't go. You better make sure that you go, and you do not leave until he's back here with us. That would have really ripped my heart out. I can't even tell you. Nonetheless, that didn't happen. After consulting with the doctors in Pittsburgh, they told them that everything that they were doing is exactly what they would do. Just continue doing that, and they should see an improvement. And then we eventually did, and I was able to bring my baby boy home. So once I brought him home, everything, of course, was fine. He was just a sweet, adorable little baby. He was so quiet when he was super young. It was really, for me, very easy to take care of him. Well, as I got older, I started noticing signs that he might be on the autism spectrum, because I do have a nephew who is on the autism spectrum. So as I'm watching him play with his toys and just some of the mannerisms that he has and stuff like that, I started thinking that it was quite possible that he was on the autism spectrum. Because my Noah would take his toys and he would literally start at one end of the house and line them up all the way to the other end of the house. And if I touched one of those toys, he would seriously get extremely upset. So I had to just leave it. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't clean my house, so to speak. I just had to leave everything the way that he put it, because he was very specific about the things being there and no one touching them. Okay. And then I also noticed every time I would ask him a question, or if I would say something to him, he would repeat it to me rather than answer the question or have any other reaction, but repeating exactly what I said. So I did think that that was odd too, of course. And I went over this in my Autism Awareness video where I explain how he has echolalia. I will go into that in a little bit more detail in another video, but I noticed all of these things. So when I went to the pediatrician, I told him, I said, listen, you know, I'm thinking that he might be on the autism spectrum. I'm explaining all this stuff that he's doing, but his pediatrician's like, if you wouldn't have said anything to me, honestly, looking at him, he looks like a perfectly normal boy. He has eye contact. He's giving you hugs. He has affection. I just don't feel that he's on the autism spectrum. And I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you that he's doing these things. I'm with him 24/7, and I just strongly feel that he should be tested. You know, I really had to push for this, guys, because they just weren't seeing it. But you have to understand, they see him for a very short window of time to examine him, and that's it. And he acts like every other kid does. When you examine a kid, nobody wants that done, right? I'm with him 24/7. I'm telling you, he's doing these things, and I have a nephew who's on the autism spectrum, and I'm telling you that I strongly want to have him tested. And what does it hurt to have him tested? To just know and find out. So after some pushing a little bit, and they went ahead and scheduled the test. I went to the hospital, the place where they have the testing, had him tested, okay? So once they were done with the testing and I got the diagnosis, the doctor told me this number. I don't remember what the number was, guys, but let's just do it this way. Let's say 500 and above puts them on the autism spectrum, which I don't know is true or not. I'm just throwing some numbers out there to give you guys an idea of what the doctor was explaining to me. So 500 above puts them on the autism spectrum, and anything below that, they're not on it. So my Noah tested kind of high, which I was really surprised about. I gotta say, I thought that he was on the autism spectrum, but I just didn't think it was severe as they were saying it was, right? So let's just say, you know, his score was 700 or something like that, right? Because there's different levels of autism. There's mild, moderate, extreme, all these things, right? The spectrum is very large, okay? So when I talked to his pediatrician initially, but mind you, he sees him for a few minutes for some, you know, examination and just a quick checkup visit. He's telling me, you know, if he's on the autism spectrum, this is his pediatrician talking without testing him, mind you, saying that if he is on the autism spectrum, let's say this is the line, and over here puts him on the autism spectrum, and over here is not. He's like, I'm telling you, if he's on it, he's just over that line. Well, the test scores that I got back didn't put him just over the line. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, as a parent, I want to understand this and know what I can do to help him have a productive life, okay? So, as I'm talking to the doctor, and she's giving me all these scores and the various different phases that they tested for and all the different things, and then the overall score. And she's like, but don't get all caught up in the numbers. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't get all caught up in the numbers. You are using these numbers to put my son on the autism spectrum. I want to know why. I'm not getting all caught up in the numbers. I just want to know how you guys arrived to those numbers and what made him all these numbers equal up to putting him this far into the autism spectrum. That's all I was trying to understand. But literally, this doctor was not getting that I was just trying to understand it all. I wasn't getting caught up in the numbers. I was not getting caught up that my son has an autism diagnosis. I was trying to understand. So don't use this number scale and tell me not to get caught up in the numbers when this is what you used to put my son on the autism spectrum. If you guys understand what I'm saying. So, of course, I'm a pushy kind of person, guys, and I want to figure it out, especially when it comes to my son and his health, okay? So you guys are going to help me understand this, and we're going to talk about these numbers whether you want to or not, right? So I went through each of the tests with her. I mean, maybe she's not used to parents acting this way, but I just want to understand it. That's all it was me trying to understand, and maybe she isn't used to somebody wanting that much detail, but that's just the type of person that I am. So anyways, we went over each phase of the test and all this kind of stuff, and I kind of feel that the results were a little skewed, right? Because certain parts of the test had to do with how he was holding his pencil or his crayon and things like that. Yes, guys, up until that point, I did color with my son, and I did do all these various different things with my son, but I'm not a teacher. Like, I didn't go over the proper way to hold your pencil and do all this extensive stuff. I was thinking those were things that happened in school, but apparently these are things that they test for in a 3-year-old. So I didn't know this, right? So I just feel like it was kind of skewed, because had I gone over that stuff with him, then he would have tested a lot better. Because you have to think about it. If somebody hasn't shown you how to do something, you're not going to do it right the first time. I'm just saying, right? Okay, so Nonetheless, after going over all the results and all that kind of stuff, this is what we came to a decision on. The doctor said, at this point, if you would like, what we can do is put him in 6 months of speech therapy and then come back and reevaluate and then determine where he falls on the autism spectrum. I said, I am very happy with that. Let's go ahead and go that route, right? Well, then the pandemic happened and I've been unable to get him into speech therapy since his diagnosis. So obviously that 6-month window that we put in place is no longer in place. So hopefully at this point, now that things are opening back up and getting back to normal, I can get him into speech therapy so that we can see where he is. Let's reevaluate him after 6 months of the speech therapy. I feel that he will be doing a lot better after doing some of the speech therapy, because honestly, guys, he is just like a sponge. And my son talks all the time. He just doesn't know how to communicate with me. And that's where the issue lies. And that's where I feel that the speech therapy can help. My kid is very smart. Noah has been able to do his ABCs frontwards and backwards since he was literally 1 year old. I am not exaggerating. The kid could count to almost 50 at the age of 1, 100 by the age of 2. He knows how to spell his name. He knows how to see his name. You know, when he sees it, he knows it says Noah. He knows a lot of other different words and letters and all that kind of stuff. Like, he can identify them. He can write all the letters. He's been able to I haven't showed him any of this. I know that makes me sound like a terrible parent, but I haven't shown him how to do any of this stuff. He's learned all of this on his own by watching TV, on the educational programs that I put on, and also by the tablet that I have for him that has all these educational programs. Yes, I do work and play with my son, guys, a lot, but I'm just saying a lot of these things he's been able to learn on his own without my help. Okay, so he's very smart and he gets everything. And a lot of kids on the autism spectrum are just like my Noah. They are extremely smart, but they're just unable to communicate everything that they're feeling. That's where there's a little bit of a barrier. So nonetheless, the point that we are at right now is getting him in the speech therapy and then having him reevaluated. Now, before I conclude all of this, because I don't want this video to get too long, I just want to make it known, so to speak, when he got his diagnosis, I wasn't upset at all. I didn't shed one tear. I didn't, woe is me, why did this happen? No, none of that. I was not like that at all. My instant reaction was, okay, this is where we are. What do we do next? What can I do as his mother to help him have the most productive life he possibly can? Now, his dad was the complete 180. Woe is me. Why did this happen to my son? He's crying. He's upset. He's devastated, actually in denial about the diagnosis. And I'm so glad that my Noah has me, because I'm very accepting of it. I understand it. I've read a lot of stuff about it, trying to do everything that I can to help him be the most productive in his life, so to speak. Okay, so that's where we are right now. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead, do the speech therapy, and see where it goes from there. Now, next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is like day to day with him. It's definitely not easy, but I strongly believe that God does not give us anything that we can't handle. And if he didn't think that I could handle being Noah's mother, he wouldn't have blessed me with this beautiful little boy. I honestly believe that. And I know that he was meant for me. He's my world. That little boy is my world, and I can't imagine my life without him. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. I know it was a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but you know, that's how I work. What can I say? I will definitely give you guys a little bit more information about what the day-to-day is like with my Noah, and a little bit more information on some of the signs that I knew that he was on the autism spectrum. That's all I got for you guys in this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye! What's up, gorgeous people? This is Ambazar's DIY and other stuff. Sorry. It's like, I do this every time. Especially, this is my first time recording today. This is not going to make it into the video. Why are you talking to the camera? Alright, try it again. What's up, gorgeous people? Should I put this butterfly in the other ear? Like, do you think that's why they look weird? I'm gonna try it. Oh my god. This is Ambazar's DIY and other stuff. My name is Amber Meeks. Today's Monday when I'm recording it, but it's gonna be Tuesday for the video. Try it again. And on this video, I'm going to be talking about my son. It is Autism Awareness Month, so I wanted to dedicate my Let's Talk Tuesdays about, yeah, that is so awesome. I hope you guys got a lot from the video. Catch you next week. Wow. It is Autism Awareness Month, and I was recently part of a collab with 5 other beautiful ladies who were, yeah! Nail it! What's up, gorgeous? I do this every time. Hold on. Oh. What's up, gorgeous people? This is Amazar's DIY and other stuff. My name is... I'm out of breath. I was walking for this and I gotta stop. I'm out of breath. Today is Let's Talk Tuesday, and on this video, I want to talk about my son. You guys know that it is Autism Awareness Month. No, maybe they don't know. I don't know. Let's say that. Today is Let's Talk Tuesday, and on this video, I wanted to talk about my beautiful little boy, Noah. So Noah was